Let me tell you something strange about silence in the digital age. We live in a world where almost everything is shared. Birthdays, coffee cups, sunsets, tears, laughter, even pain dressed up with filters. Yet some people stay completely invisible. They scroll quietly, observe deeply, but rarely, if ever, post. But let me tell you about Maya, a 28-year-old who vanished from social media overnight after 4 years of being what she called Instagram's perfect puppet. Her story reveals everything you need to know about this quiet revolution. It's easy to assume that people who don't post are simply shy or introverted, but that's not the full picture. Beneath the surface, there's an entire psychology at play, one that speaks volumes about human nature, self-perception, and the quiet rebellion against a culture obsessed with visibility. See, for some people, silence is not emptiness, it's control. It's the power to choose what the world doesn't get to know. Psychologists have found something fascinating. People who refrain from posting frequently often score higher on traits like self-restraint, introspection, and emotional independence. They tend to be less influenced by social comparison and external validation. In other words, they aren't trying to prove who they are, they're trying to understand it. Because let's be honest, most of what we post is not just communication, it's identity crafting. It's an unconscious audition for belonging. Every caption, every photo, every status update says, "This is who I am. Do you approve?" But when you stop posting, something shifts. You begin to detach your worth from digital applause. You stop thinking in captions. You start experiencing moments for yourself again, instead of for a lens. There's a concept in psychology called psychological ownership. It's the feeling that something belongs deeply to you, a thought, a memory, an experience. And when you post it, that sense of ownership fades just a little. The moment becomes shared property, open to judgment, misinterpretation, even mockery. So people who don't post are often guarding their sense of ownership over life itself. They keep their moments untouchable, private, pure. And maybe that's not sadness or withdrawal. Maybe it's a quiet kind of freedom. For some, the decision not to post comes after a kind of emotional burnout. They realized that every time they shared something beautiful, they felt an invisible pressure to keep outdoing it. They weren't living anymore, they were performing. This is exactly what happened to Maya. It was October 2022. She just returned from what Instagram would call a dream vacation to Santorini. Her feed was filled with perfect sunset shots and carefully posed photos that had taken hours to capture. Each post garnered thousands of likes. Friends commented, "Living your best life." But here's what nobody saw. Maya had spent most of that trip anxious, not about the experience itself, but about capturing it. She woke up early not to watch the sunrise, but to photograph it in perfect lighting. She chose restaurants based on how Instagrammable they were, not how good the food was. On the flight home, something inside her cracked. "I realized I couldn't remember what the sunset actually felt like," she later recalled. "I remembered the stress of getting the shot, the relief when it got enough likes, but not the warmth on my skin or the sound of the waves. I had been there, but I hadn't been present." Maya deleted Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok that same night. No announcement, no dramatic farewell post, just gone. The first few days were brutal. She felt phantom vibrations from her phone. Her thumb instinctively reached for apps that were no longer there. She'd take a photo of her morning coffee and feel a strange emptiness when she realized she had nowhere to post it. "I kept thinking, what are people talking about? What am I missing?" Maya said. "It was like I'd lost a limb." But then, around day 15, something profound shifted. Maya woke up one morning and didn't immediately reach for her phone. She made breakfast without photographing it. She went for a walk and actually looked at the trees instead of thinking about how to frame them. "For the first time in years, my mind felt quiet," she said. Research from the University of Pennsylvania backs this up. limiting social media use significantly reduces feelings of loneliness and depression. But Maya had gone further. She'd eliminated it entirely. 3 months into her digital silence, Maya barely recognized herself. She'd started painting again. She'd had deeper conversations with friends, real ones, over coffee where nobody checked their phones. She'd read 7 books. She'd gone to concerts and actually watched the performers instead of recording them. The strangest thing was realizing how much time I had, Maya said. I'd been spending 3 to 4 hours a day on social media without even realizing it. But it wasn't just about time, it was about mental space. Without the constant influx of other people's opinions and curated perfection, Maya found herself thinking her own thoughts again. She formed opinions based on her experiences, not on what would get the most engagement. Perhaps most surprising was what happened to her friendships. Some people drifted away, the ones whose connection had been purely digital. But others became closer. They called her, they made plans to actually see her. I learned who actually cared about me as a person versus who just liked the version of me I was performing, she said. What Maya discovered aligns perfectly with psychological research on social media use. She'd been trapped in what psychologists call the dopamine loop, that burst of pleasure from likes and comments that keeps us coming back for more. She'd also been suffering from self-presentational pressure, the exhausting awareness of constantly being watched and evaluated. For 4 years, she'd been curating a version of herself that would be liked, commented on, shared, but that version wasn't real. When she stopped posting, her internal locus of control strengthened. Her sense of worth stopped coming from external validation and started coming from within. It's been over a year now since Maya deleted her accounts. She still has moments of doubt, wondering if she's missing out, if she made the right choice. But then she remembers what her life was like before, the anxiety, the comparison, the constant performance. I spent 4 years proving to everyone that I was living a good life, she says. Now, I'm just living it, and nobody needs to see it for it to be real.
You know what's fascinating? The longer someone stays off social media, the more they begin to see the world differently. Colors look richer, time feels slower, conversations feel fuller. Because when you stop performing, you start experiencing. Every time we post something online and it gets attention, likes, comments, hearts, our brain releases dopamine, the same chemical involved in reward and addiction. Over time, we begin to crave that validation. We start thinking in terms of shareable experiences instead of real ones. People who don't post often have a strong internal locus of control, a psychological term meaning their sense of worth and happiness comes from within, not from external approval. They don't need the digital echo of "you're enough" to believe it. Studies show that people who take long breaks from social media often experience a measurable increase in emotional stability and life satisfaction. Because when your sense of identity is no longer being constantly mirrored back to you, it becomes solid, it becomes real. That's one of the quiet truths of this generation. We've confused visibility with value. We assume that to matter, we must be noticed. But real meaning doesn't need witnesses. Some of the most meaningful moments of your life will happen without a single person watching. No cameras, no captions, no audience, just you. And maybe that's what those who don't post understand best. They know that privacy is not loneliness, it's intimacy with yourself. Because when you stop broadcasting every thought, you start hearing your own again. Some people say, if you didn't post it, did it even happen? But the truth is, things that shape you most rarely make it to the feed. Your growth, your heartbreaks, your private victories, they live in memory, not media. And maybe that's enough. Those who live quietly often feel life most intensely. They're not distracted by the performance of it. They absorb details others miss, the way light changes on a wall.
the pause before someone speaks, the sound of distant laughter. They are present, and presence is the rarest currency in a world built on attention. There's a quiet confidence that comes from not needing to be known by everyone, just understood by a few. They know that not every truth is meant for the crowd, that some parts of you deserve to remain untouched by algorithms and opinions. So the next time you notice someone who never posts, don't assume they're hiding. Maybe they're just living. Maybe they found peace in the quiet corners of existence, the ones not lit by the blue glow of a screen. Maybe they're the ones who've remembered what the rest of us forgot, that being unseen doesn't mean being alone, that being quiet doesn't mean being empty, that sometimes the truest expression of who you are is silence. Because in the end, we're not meant to be performances, we're meant to be people. And the people who don't post, they remind us of that. Every quiet, unfiltered, beautifully